welcome back to my channel, and I want to thank you for taking your time and watching this video. So I'm going to start out with some pictures today, and I'm just going to go over the little story of the pictures really short. I just know that when I watch process videos, I usually like to know the story of the pictures. And I'm going to go over some papers that I chose. So I've got this one 4x6 here of me and my good friend Tisa, who is also on YouTube as Tisa Brown Create, I believe is how it is. But I'll have her channel link below. She went with me to an area that was local to her that I had done pictures at before, but in a completely different season. And I wanted to go during this season because I had another session coming up, a maternity session that I was doing for somebody coming up, that I wanted to see how it was. So she so graciously went with me, and so graciously was my model. And I am so blessed to have such beautiful friends that are willing to be my models. I had these 4 3x4s. I don't think I'm going to use all 4 of them, but these were just 4 of my favorites. And because she's so beautiful, I just wanted to show you some close-ups. So this one, this one, and this one were all at the same place. This one was at a separate place. I love that one. She scrapped that one, I believe, already. And then these 2. And her reading her Bible with her coffee. So I'm not quite sure which. I'll probably only do 2. I'm not quite sure which 2 I'm going to do, but I have options. So to start out with, I started with this paper as my background. And it's just a neutral notebook type paper. Not grid paper. Ledger paper. That's the word I'm looking for. Ledger paper. And it's from the Jen Hatfield Peaceful Heart collection, and it's Good Things. I want to say this paper, yeah, 2021. I believe I got this at Joann's a couple of years ago. So I'll link it if it's still available. So I thought that would be a nice neutral background. The next paper I brought in is another old one. It's from Jen Hatfield DIY Home, and it's the leopard paper, and it is from 2015. Holy moly, that paper is 10 years old. I did not realize that. But I thought it would be just a good neutral to have. A black gray. It's not a harsh black, but and I love leopard print, so I thought it would be a good neutral. Then I wanted to bring in some other colors in the little stack of papers I have. And if you look closely at her shirt, she's got this really pretty, like, mauve-y color right here in her shirt, and I absolutely love that color, so I wanted to bring that in. At first, I brought in this. It doesn't really have mauve in it, but I felt like it went with this paper, and I don't dislike it, especially with the flowers. But then when I kept flipping through, I found this paper, and I was like, well, that's absolutely perfect, because it's a really good match to the color of her shirt. And we've still got some, well, my jacket was like an olive green color, but we've still got some of the green in there to pick up on the greenery here. So I'm going to take that one out and slip this one in. The B side of this one is this orangey peachy hexagon color. And this is from Jen Hatfield, The Avenue. And this is Lavender Lane. And this is 2020. So I have my collections organized on my shelf by designer. And if I have a bunch of one collection, I've got that whole collection together. So that's why all these paper are Jen Hatfield's. This is from another Peaceful Heart collection, and this is Self-Care. And the B-side is this nice dot, which I could also bring in as well. Then I wanted to bring in something with a little bit more contrast, because I'm not sure how much of this dark or this leopard print I'm going to use. And I wanted to bring in some of the green because I knew this jacket that I had on was like a army green, olivey green. So I brought in this color, and I felt like it complemented very well to what we had going on, especially because of the greenery around us. Now you notice I don't have any embellishments pulled out. I tend to start with paper. I love paper. That's my favorite part of, one of my favorite parts of scrapbooking. And then I bring in embellishments later. So as I do that, as I get the base of my page done, I'll then decide what embellishments I want to bring in. And before I forget, this is another Jen Hatfield homemade Heart of Home. Are they all Jen Hatfield homemade? No. Okay, so this is Jen Hatfield Heart of Home, Bless This Nest. And this side's cute. I do like this side. This is 2017 paper. So this paper, that one might be available. I highly doubt these 2 papers are available, but I will try to find similar stuff if I can and try to link it. But these 2 might be available. But I am going to go ahead and get started and put you on fast forward. So I'm going ahead and trim in all 4 3x4 pictures with my We Are Memory Keepers guillotine trimmer. I printed 4 of them because I wasn't quite sure which ones I wanted to use. I end up only using 2, but pretty soon I do contemplate using all 4 of them, and briefly you will see a design that would actually work really well with a 4x6 and 4 3x4s on a page. Like I said, I only end up using 2 of them, and these pictures are from 2 different locations, as I said in the first part of the video, and I end up using 1 picture from one location and 1 picture from another, just to have a little bit of a variety. So I'm cutting the barcode strip off my background paper, which is the ledger paper from Jen Hatfield, Peaceful Heart, and it's called Good Things. So right here you'll see where this would make a really cool design for a layout with 1 4x6 and 4 3x4 images, and I contemplated it, but I decided against it just because I didn't want it to be so photo heavy. And I'm going to go with this layout, or this design right here. I really love doing 1 4x6 and 2 3x4s like this. I feel like it brings attention to the 4x6 paper, or 4x6 image, but you also have the little details of the 3x4. I'm bringing in that black leopard paper just as a border around my photo, and that's honestly the only time I used that paper in this layout. I just wanted something, I didn't necessarily want it for the leopard, I just wanted something to have some contrast in it against the background. And I'm using my favorite Memento gray ink called Gray Flannel, and I've said it in a previous video, but no matter what I'm scrapbooking, if I ink my pages or ink my edges, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be that gray ink. It doesn't matter if my papers are cream or white or green or blue or brown. I'm most likely going to use the gray ink. So I'm matting my 3x4 pictures on this nice dark green paper, and I wanted to take care that the pattern doesn't go edge to edge, as you can see there. So I wanted to make sure that my photo, when it was matted, I had a little bit of the vine on the left and the right. It's a really small detail that you probably wouldn't even notice, but I just wanted to make sure that I had that situated. Now the picture on the right there, I actually love how it looks tucked in on the right side of the page, but because of the angle of the photo and the way she's looking, I felt like she would have been looking off the page. And honestly, I don't know if this is going to go on the left side or the right side of the album, so that's why I put it over on the left side. That's not a hard and fast rule, and it's not something I always follow, but for this one, for whatever reason, I just decided to go for it with I decided to use it on the left side because of that angle that it was creating. Here I am bringing in this mauve paper that's got the floral that looks like it's kind of washi taped to a wall. And that's another way to use a paper like this. This layout has minimal embellishment, but it feels like it's got a lot because of everything that's going on with that pattern paper right there. It feels like there's a lot going on in the background with the florals, but it's really not. It's just one piece of paper. And I did tear it just to give it a little bit of texture. And I cut the bottom of the paper, and I'm going to bring it to the bottom of the images to make it look like one full mat. And I'm just bringing out my T-square ruler to make sure they are lined up, because it's one of those things that if they're not lined up, your eye may see it just a little bit off, and unless it's intentional and you do it to make it look intentional, it's just something's going to be off and you're not going to be able to see what it is. So I felt like the top of the page was just kind of floating there, and I needed something to ground it. So I thought it would be really cool to bring up the pink paper, the mauve paper, to the top of the layout to make it look like the paper was just ripped. And that's actually, that in between space is actually going to house my title and my journaling. So I thought that was a really cute idea, and kind of keep everything in this square, or not square, but keep everything in between the papers. So I'm just going through my 6 by 12 stickers here and trying to find anything that might possibly match this color. I don't have a lot that would match these colors in the way of graphic designs, but I end up pulling out a lot of labels, which is a very good generic embellishment to use when you don't have a lot that's, which I'm not a theme scrapbooker, but when you don't have a lot that matches what you're going for. So I pulled out these Heidi Swapp stickers, and let me tell you, these stickers are crazy strong sticky on them. Like, I had a hard time getting them off my acrylic block. So I felt like the top of the page was missing a little bit of something, and I wanted to bring in that dark green that I have matted the small photos with, but just a little bit at the very top. So I tore a piece, and I'm just going to tuck it under the mauve paper, and that again adds a little bit more grounding to it. And I do cover some of it up, but my title sits on it. My main part, or the biggest word of my title, sits on it, so it just kind of houses that. So here I am pulling in the labels, and this is another thing that I love to do. When I go through my stickers, I bring out a large acrylic block that sits on my desk that I don't think I've ever used exactly for stamping unless I've got a very large stamp. I mainly just stick stickers on it as I'm scrapbooking, and that's what I pull from, so I don't have to continuously pull out the sticker sheets. I got very lucky right there. I'll come back to what I was saying, but I got very lucky right there because I dropped half of the sticker and it landed on the photo. And I mean, these stickers are super sticky on the back of them, which is nice. It's awesome, but I almost had to reprint that photo. Luckily, I was able to get it up because it didn't fully mash down on the photo in the paper. So I wanted to bring in this rainbow right here for no other reason other than I like the colors with the page that we had going on. So back to the acrylic block. This way, it keeps me from being overwhelmed with having, especially if I'm pulling from several sticker sheets, it keeps me from being overwhelmed with having 3 or 4 sticker sheets out in front of me that I've constantly got to go back to. And I'm just creating, right now I'm just creating a diagonal, but I will start my triangle right here. So if you're having a hard time trying to figure out where you want to place your embellishment clusters, create a triangle around your focal point. So if you draw a line from the rainbow cluster down to the smile cluster and then over to the cluster I'm working on the right, it creates a triangle, and within that triangle is everything in my layout. Now, that's not always the case with a triangle when I make it, but the biggest part of this triangle is going to be the photo of Tisa and I. So say I wanted to bring focus to something in particular in a layout. Maybe I did have all 4 3x4s and the 4x6, and I still wanted to bring attention to the 4x6. My triangle's going to encompass that 4x6, so that image is going to be within my triangle, whereas the other images are just going to be little details. I'm hoping that makes sense. I can demonstrate it better live than I can explain it in a voiceover. So I'm just trying to work in some of the other stickers here and there. I thought that Time Well Spent sticker would be a good, that yellow label would be a good placement for it, but it ended up covering up too much of it, and I apologize if you can hear my dog whining in the background. He wants to go out. He's just went out, but the cat's outside, and I think he wants to play with the cat. So I'm bringing in this gold sticker right here. I don't have a lot in the way of gold on the layout other than the sticker, but I do bring it in the title, so it ties it in as well. And I love adding pop dots, so I add pop dots throughout. I felt like Love This sticker needed something behind it, so I added this label just so it wasn't blending into the background too much. And I'm still trying to figure out what to do with what I've got left on my block. Now, I'm not hard and fast about having to use everything that I pull out. I mean, I will more than happy put some of it back if I need to. But I do try to make sure that I feel like all the areas that, might be missing something, have a little something. So I saved you all the time it took me to decide on what letters I want to use, and I ended up with these. I want to say these are Paige Evans letters. I'll double check and have it linked in the comments. But my title kind of goes through a transition. So these pictures are from location scouting for These pictures are from a location scouting for pictures for a photography session, and I wanted that in the title. So I brought in these small letters, and my original title was going to be Scouting a New Location, but this isn't a new location. I've done a session here before. I was just scouting it in a new season, so I changed that up just so to make sense. And also those pink glitter stickers or pink glitter letter stickers kind of blended into the mauve paper, and I love the pop that they give against the ledger paper. So my title becomes Location Scouting, which is very straightforward and to the point, but it gets the point across. So I'm bringing in my journaling right here, and as you can see, I've got it in between my two pieces of torn paper, and I love how that looks. I feel like it ties everything in together. But I do go a little awry right here. So I went a little long with my journaling, so to me that one long line looks odd. So honestly, it works out to be the perfect spot for this time well spent sticker. And I just love how that fits in that little nook right there. And I've been loving bringing in some splatters from More Than Just Gold. So I brought in this Distress Oxide spray in a peeled paint is the color. It's just a nice olivey green color. And I want to make sure that I'm getting it in all the clusters and kind of all over the page so your eye follows. So I'm just giving you a close-up here. And in just a second, you'll see some still shots of the images. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribing, please hit that subscribe button. And if you do, thank you so much. Have a great day.